Yeah, McKay, mate. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird day. We're just saying off air that they're kind of calm before the storm almost. I mean, there's some clubs going crazy, but clubs that should be going crazy, perhaps like Man United, aren't. You lot are kind of stuck still. And I guess that's where we're going to begin. But, the fact that, we're here, 8 days or whatever from the deadline, and we're talking about Johnny Evans returning. I mean, this is a team that was supposed to be moving forward this summer. This was supposed to be a summer where big statements were going to be made. A takeover was supposed to happen, and we're at the end of August, and you got Johnny Evans coming in. Like, this is no offense to Johnny Evans at all. Like, fair play to him for even managing to convince Ten Hag that he was worthy of having around the squad, but absolutely ridiculous, especially if Maguire is going up being sixth choice centre back on 220 grand a week. Like, absolutely bonkers.
It makes absolutely no sense. We've missed out on Pavard, we've missed out on Kim, we've missed out. We're looking at Todibo, which is a deal that the player seemingly wants, same as Pavard. And we're ending up with Johnny Evans, which as a Man United fan, there is no credible way to defend it. It's embarrassing. And it, again, is Glazonomics. Because there's certain Man United fans that will go, well, the manager says he has full control over transfers. Yeah, he does. But he still can only pick from the options that are provided by the board and the ownership. And bringing Johnny Evans in is better than having no additional backup. But yeah. It's Veghorst all over again. It's not the eye. Yeah. It's nowhere near what the manager actually wants. And he'll put on a brave face and he'll try and keep the situation as calm as possible. But the Amrabat deal Johnny Evans is embarrassing. We need better than that. The Amrabat deal, there's talk today that Fiorentina have lowered the asking price ever so slightly again. He's training separately. He's not involved in their match day squad. He has been waiting, bless his heart, patiently for about 5 or 6 weeks since telling Man United he wants to join. It's embarrassing that I know that we want to sell first.
Yeah.
But you've seen our midfield, Dean, in these opening 2 games. We need more technical ability and we need more size and power in that team.
Yeah, we need more energy too. And do you know what I was actually thinking of all the players you haven't managed to get rid of at Man United over the course of this summer? The one you did, Fred, is probably the one that would actually been most useful, to be honest. Like, when you look at the first 2 games and you think of what would be missing alongside Casemiro right now. Mount goes out injured. Okay, well, let's put something back in this team, some energy, some zip, somebody that can help Casemiro come through this couple of games. I probably would be sticking Fred into the team right now. Like, I think a lot of the time that he was underrated or at least over-criticised. But yeah, Man United to be in the situation where they still can't do a deal for Amrabat, who even at top dollar wasn't even expensive. Like, the most we've heard about is 35 million. Now we're hearing 21 million. I mean, I'm kind of taking that story with a pinch of salt. It's very rare that a club would lower their asking price at the end of a transfer window. I mean, I'm not sure what Fiorentina's thinking would be there. Obviously, he's got the weekend off now. His head must be all over the place. United's still interested here, and he wants the move, as we know. Other clubs also interested in Amrabat. If United don't move this weekend, he's going to go somewhere else. I don't see that Amrabat's going to stay at Fiorentina. It's unlikely anyway. So we could get to the start of next week and suddenly be like, Amrabat, okay, we've got to move on from this. I've got to get a new club, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Atletico Madrid. There'll be others in for him too, because this is a really good player that will transform somebody's season.
I couldn't agree with you more. And a lot of us United fans have been talking about there's a technical element we want to improve within the team, but we are missing P&P. We are missing strong, powerful players with a bit of speed. I'm not talking Mbappe speed, but and cover some ground. And you look at the 4 players at the minute. One of them's injured. He's going to come in Højlund. He's 6'3". The manager wants Todibo. He's 6'3". He wants Gravenberch, 6'3". Amrabat, 6'1". We need that power and that size in this team. I watched this against both Spurs and Wolves, and just ignore the technical element for a moment and look at the size difference between them and us. It's like we're in the land of the giants. Gulliver's Travels or whatever it is. Like, it's ridiculous in terms of the size of our team compared to others.
Yeah.
We started this window. Listen, I was never a big fan of the Mount deal. However, I'm like, okay, let's see what the manager does with him. I thought we started the window well with with Onana. The deal 5-6 weeks ago, personal terms agreed with Amrabat. Personal terms agreed with Højlund. Then the word was we would sell players and then move on and buy 2 or 3 more. We've barely got rid of anybody. Amrabat, as you say, still sitting there with his bags packed, waiting by his front door, essentially, for that bid to come in, and it hasn't happened. And there's less than a week to go. And I've got a really horrible feeling that we are going to end this window with Johnny Evans coming in, a couple of backup goalkeepers, and nothing else, with Fred having left. And I know we've got that menu that the manager really appreciates, but he's still wet behind the ears. And I think it's so wrong for Man United fans go, right, he's the kid. He's going to improve our team and make us challengers for this Premier League title. You should never be putting pressure on any kid, unless you're Mbappe or Haaland, to drastically improve your team. It should be on the sort of the players in their mid-20s and in their latter years that are your core, that are the team that are driving you forward with a splattering of stars in your team. And I look at that and just think to myself, we are going to set this young kid up for failure, just as we're doing with Garnacho, just as we did with Rashford, just as we did all them years ago with Adnan Januzaj. We're trying to make the kids the stars, when actually, and people think, oh, United are famed for doing this. No, we're not. When the Class of 92 came through, when the Busby Babes came through, the core of the team was older and the youngsters thrived off that. They weren't the core. This is the misconception when it comes to Man United and our youth policy. And I got a feeling we're going to end up doing that again with cost-cutting exercises, but it will be the manager that everybody focuses on. Oh, the manager's got it wrong. He's got it wrong. It's not. The manager doesn't want this. Now, some will say he should walk away and quit. And I understand that logic, but rarely do managers do that. I just say, as a Man United fan, to not have Amrabat done by now is ridiculous. And we're probably not going to have him in for the Forest game, it looks like now, unless something drastic happens today. And then we've got Arsenal before the international break, away from home. Our record away at the Emirates is disgraceful. To not have him available, we might not even have Højlund fit. We'll probably beat Forest at the weekend. Arsenal are going to batter us, and we all already know that. And then you go into a 2-week international break angry. Honestly, the club's a joke right now. Again, it's a joke.
Yeah, I think that Arsenal fixture is really key to make sure that Amrabat is in by then, because, like you say, you're going to get overrun and outthought as well by that Arsenal. The invention of that team has just got so much that United hasn't got. And I think that's going to be one of the problems. Also, the Højlund factor. I mean, I've noticed that people getting quite excited, like he's seen on the training pitch. There's talk about him being back in the squad. I was speaking to somebody that covers United very closely, and he has some good insight into the thought processes around big decisions. And I said to him about Rashford, I was like, how long is he going to carry on playing this role? Because, like, obviously it's detrimental to the team if Rashford's at the 9, but I understand there's nobody else. When's Højlund back? He said, that's not even the issue. Even when Højlund's back, Rashford will still get games at 9, because Højlund is not going to be playing 90 minutes of number 9. He's going to take time to settle. He's going to take time to get fully fit. And you could be still talking that a couple of months down the road, you're still seeing Rashford at 9, like not for full 90 minutes maybe, but still being used at 9. And if that's happening, it's going to be a massive problem for Man United. He actually suggested that because of how badly the results, or not necessarily the results, but the overall performances have been considered for Man United over the last 2 games, that when Mount comes back into the team, if United can evolve a bit during this period, it might be that Mount comes back in as a wide forward for Man United. Now, I don't know how we have to wait and see, like, how quickly they can evolve, but I can definitely see a case for that, being that, especially if Amrabat came in the meantime, and Man United started to build a different kind of structure to their play, that if Garnacho wasn't meeting standards, if Anthony was continuing to drop off a level, that you would have to consider playing Mount out wide, play Rashford out wide, and start to get Højlund through the middle. You might start to get a bit of a different dynamic from that Man United team, bit more power, a bit more Premier League nous, if you like, in it as well. So I think that those are 2 things to look out for. I also found it interesting the other day when Rafael Varane was linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. Now, obviously nothing has come of it at this stage, but when I see Johnny Evans coming in to United, and you think, okay, so the obvious thing is that they still want Maguire out, and they just want to make sure that they've got extra cover in there. But there will be this fear at the moment, I think, across all big clubs, not even big clubs, any Premier League club, of what Saudi Arabia could do to them after deadline day. The Saudi transfer window doesn't close until almost 3 weeks after our transfer window closes. And that could cause
Wow.
utter carnage. I think it's September the 20th, something like that, is when the Saudi Pro League transfer window closes. And that, I mean, is extremely dangerous. I mean, I can't see that beyond this year that's ever going to be allowed to happen again, especially considering that their league is starting at the same time as ours as well. But everyone could get hunted. Like, if you're suddenly being hunted down after deadline day and you can't replace these players, there's no measures you can take for that. And some big players will have their heads turned. There's no doubt about it. We've seen, even the fact that Gabri Vega's just gone to Saudi Arabia after all the links that he had. I mean, I saw Tony Kroos commenting, like, it's embarrassing. Like, it's a mess. Like, it's an absolute mess. And the Saudis doing everything they can to rattle Europe's hold on world football. But, Gabri Vega at that age to go there is scary. And it just goes to show that anybody can have their head turned. So I'd say that is one thing to look out for in the coming weeks, especially as clubs look to pad out their squads. Even looking at free agents and out of contract players right now, just in case one of their players gets poached.
No, listen, I understand it, and look, I get where Tony Kroos is coming from in terms of it's embarrassing a young player like this is going to go over there. But I remember when Ronaldo joined less than a year ago, and everybody said, "Why would you go to a league like that?" They probably now have more stars in it in terms of famous names. Most of them are past their best than any other league, including Europe, in terms of the absolute superstars of football, with Ronaldo and Neymar being there. And the fact that they've now got Gabri Vega, if they start taking more, this is the thing, people say it's a joke of a league. Not if they keep taking the young players now. Not if Gabri Vega is the first of many young upstarts who goes into that league to play. Because essentially, if you took all the top players from Europe and put them in Saudi, and take all the top coaches and put them in Saudi, their league is now the best league in the world. Like it's all, and theoretically you can do that. If you transfer all the players across and you pay them more money, then it doesn't matter. The more people that go over there, the higher the quality of football. Therefore, you're not going to regress. When players like Oscar went to China, the overall quality of the football wasn't great, but the more they sign, the higher the quality rises up, and the more people are going to watch it. So I get where Tony Kroos is coming from to a degree, but the Saudis mean business, and they have got more money than God. They can listen. However much they're spending, it is a drop in the ocean to the money these individuals have. So, the FIFA will do something. I think FIFA is going to end up doing something that protects its, because as much as FIFA and UEFA are not exactly the same thing, UEFA is the golden goose of their football. And suddenly, if Saudi start doing this, it will eventually cost money. So, Man United got to be careful with this, because the Varane news, as much as it's Insta pictures of him kissing his badge and everything else, there's often no smoke without fire, and we'll get on some other stories like that a bit later. But Man United fans, let us know what you think in relation to the story surrounding our club at the moment, the lack of activity around midfielders, the lack of activity around new defenders. It's basically backup goalkeepers and Johnny Evans as far as we could see right now.